What's up, YouTube? It's your girl K, the one and only K. So today's video will be a very emotional video. If you read the title of this video, today I will be talking about my sister Kyra. I'll just be telling you guys a little bit about her and everything that I remember on the day that she passed. Today is her 1-year anniversary of her death. So I'm gonna try to get through this video without crying. I know I'm not gonna make it, but I'm just gonna tell y'all about her, and I want y'all to give this video a like and a share and a thumbs up. So first, I'm just gonna tell y'all a little bit about Kyra. Kyra is one of my oldest sisters. Her name is Kyra Monique Stevens, and she died at the age of 20. A little bit about Kyra. Kyra was definitely my favorite. I usually don't pick favorites between siblings and things like that, but Kyra was definitely my favorite, and she still is my favorite. Kyra, she was one of a kind, honestly. Like, my sister, she was an angel. She was so beautiful, one of the beautifulest girls in the world. And I'm not just saying it because she's my sister, but she was definitely top 10. Kyra was very playful and goofy. Like, she lit up every room that she walked in. She had a heart of a lion. Like, she knew a lot of people, and a lot of people knew her. A lot of people loved her. She was just this strong, independent, goofy, funny, silly. She was all that in one. She was also mean. She had her mean sides and things like that. But she was definitely one of a kind. I know personally that I would never ever meet anyone like her. Like, her daughter Zaya has some of her ways, but there will never ever be another Kyra Monique. So I'm just gonna jump into what I remember and everything that happened on June 13th, 2021. So it was a Sunday morning, and usually on Sundays I be at work because I worked at Amazon during this time. But this particular Sunday, I didn't go to work. I felt so tired because I already worked that Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, so I didn't feel like going to work that Sunday. So I didn't go to work that Sunday on this June 13th. And it was this morning where me and my other sister Kierra, we was at my dad's house, and it was probably around, I'm gonna just say 10:30. I'm gonna just say 10:20, 10:30 a.m. And I remember, so my dad's house has 3 rooms, and I remember I was in the middle room and I was asleep, and my sister Kierra, she ran in the room, and she said to me, she woke me up, and she said to me, Kayla, Kyra just got in a car accident. And she was nervous, she was shaking. So I immediately jumped up, because you just told me that my sister been in a car accident. That's very serious. So I had immediately jumped up out the bed, and I was like, where? Like, all I can remember, I was so nervous and scared. I was like, where is she? What hospital? What's going on? And at the time, we didn't know nothing that was going on. We just know that she was in the hospital. We just knew that she was in a wreck. See, what happened was, I think when she had gotten the wreck, the police had called my mom, and my mom stayed in Oxford, Mississippi at the time. Well, she still do. She stay in Oxford, but my dad stay in Memphis. So we in Memphis, Tennessee, and my mom in Oxford, Mississippi. The wreck happened in Memphis. So the police had called my mom, they found Kyra's phone, I guess on the accident scene or where the car was, and they called my mom and they told her what happened, and she was in the middle of church when this happened. So I don't know how Kierra found out. I guess my mom called Kierra and that's what happened. But Kierra had came in the room and I jumped up. I was so scared and I was so nervous, and all I could kept saying was, what happened, where she at? And then my dad was out of town. He was coming back from Chicago. No, he was coming back from Detroit. So he was hours away. And we called him, telling him what was going on. You know, he keeps saying, call me back when y'all find out something. You know, try to go to the hospital, find out what's going on. So at this time, it was my uncles and things outside. We all trying to figure out where Kyra is, because no one told us where the accident happened at, or no one told us where the hospital was or what's going on. We just knew that Kyra just had a car accident. So we all trying to figure out what's going on. Next thing we find out is we had got a call that there was, where the accident scene was, that the police and firefighters found a car seat, which is Zaya's car seat. They said that they had found a car seat, but the car seat is empty. So when you hear that your sister just been in a car accident and they see a car seat but no baby, you automatically get scared. Like, I was so scared. I didn't know what was going on. We all just scared. Kierra crying, like everybody trying to figure out what's going on. Everybody like, where's Zaya, where's Zaya? That's the baby name. We was like, where's Zaya, where's Zaya? So my uncles and Kierra, my uncles had went around, you know, Memphis looking like, where's the accident? I was on my phone searching up where's the accident. We trying to figure out where have an accident scene happening. We couldn't find anything. So everybody looking around like, where's Zaya? Trying to figure out where Zaya is. So of course I'm worried about my niece, which is Zaya, but at the same time I'm worried about my sister Kyra. I just heard that she been in a car accident and nobody know where she is or what hospital or what's going on. So immediately, right after everybody been looking around for Zaya, I immediately got up and I got in my car and I drove to the hospital. I did not know which hospital my sister was at. Memphis have probably over 10 hospitals. I don't know, but Memphis have many hospitals, but something in my mind told me to go to this specific one hospital. I got in my car while everybody was still at their house searching around looking for Zaya. I got in my car looking for my sister. And when I got in my car, I went to this one hospital called Baptist. That's the first hospital that I ever went to. It was about 20-25 minutes away, but I made that 20-25 minutes seem like a 10-15 minute drive. Like, y'all, it's a Sunday. It was a Sunday morning. It really wasn't no cars on the road, so I got there in about 10-15 minutes. So when I got to the hospital, I got to Baptist Hospital. And when I tell y'all, it must have been a sign from God, because Memphis had more than one hospital. I went to the exact hospital my sister was. So when I went to the hospital and I walked through the emergency doors and I went to the front desk and I asked the people, I said, my sister Kyra had just gotten a car wreck. Is she here? They said, what's her name? I said, Kyra Stevens. They said, give me a second. The lady, she was doing something on the computer. I guess she searched her name up or something, and she told me to hold on 1 second. You know the doors that you have to, the people at the front desk have to push a button for you to go into. So when they pushed the doors, a doctor came out. It was a younger white man. He was the doctor. He had came and got me, and he took me to the back. It was like a walk, kind of like a long walk, but I had to walk through, you know, all the hospital rooms to get to the back. So where the back was, you know, it's like, it seemed normal to me. I thought that, you know, I thought my sister was okay. I truly thought that, you know, that she was okay. So at the time, we just walking through the hospital, me and the doctor, that's it. We walking, we was walking through the hospital, and he took me to this room by myself. The doctor, he took me to the room by myself, and he's told me to just wait right here. He was like, where's your mother? And I was like, she's on her way from Mississippi, because that's where she stays. So she was on her way from Mississippi. At the time, I was texting everybody, telling them what hospital she was at. I was like, Kyra is at Baptist, you know, y'all come on to Baptist, this for Kyra. And we later found out that my niece was okay. My niece was at Kyra's shop. Kyra had just recently opened the shop, and she was at the shop with her business partner. So everybody was, you know, happy that they found out Desire was in a safe place. So now everybody's like, where's Kyra? Where's Kyra? So I had let them know what hospital she was at, because I was already there. So I don't know what time it was. I really wasn't paying attention to nothing like that. But I was in the room by myself. And, you know, the whole time in the room, I'm just praying, you know. I'm praying and praying that my sister is okay. You know, I'm just hoping that they come back and say she got a broken leg or like a broken arm. So the whole time I'm in the room, I'm just, you know, praying to God. I'm praying and praying. I'm just praying, hoping that she's okay. And like probably like 5 minutes later, with me in the room by myself, one of my mom's sisters came. Her name is Tasha, my auntie Tasha. See, she worked in the hospital, so I don't know if she knew what was going on or anything, but she's been working in the hospital for years. But she came in the room, and now it's just me and her. We just sitting there and we praying. We just praying that she's okay. And you know, the doctors came back in again. It was like, how far your mother is. We don't want to tell y'all nothing without her being in the room. And we was like, we don't know. She coming from Mississippi. So my auntie was like, you can just go ahead and tell me. She was like, I'm her sister. It's okay. You can just tell us what's going on. So at the moment when it was just me and my auntie in the room, the doctor had went back out, and he came back in like 2 minutes later. He came back in with like 2 other doctors and like 3 nurses. And they was just standing around us. You know, we was just sitting on the couch, and they was standing up around us. And the doctor had said that there was nothing they could have done to save my sister. And I just immediately felt so heartbroken. I never felt a pain as deep as that. Like, I can't even explain. It felt like somebody was ripping my heart out of my chest while I was alive. The doctors literally told me and my auntie that there was nothing else that they could have done, and that my sister was gone. And at that moment, I just lost it. I was lost. I broke down crying. I was so hurt. It was a pain that I never felt ever in my life. I was so hurt. And my auntie, she was just holding me so tight. And I kept screaming and saying that my sister gone, like she really gone. And I kept screaming like she just had a baby. I was so lost. I was so confused. I really didn't believe it. I didn't believe it. I couldn't believe what I just heard. Like, you telling me a person that I knew for 18 years that I stayed with, somebody that I loved so much, somebody that I would have laid and died for, just left this earth, and you telling me I would never see them and talk to them again? Do you know how hurtful that feel? Do you know how hurtful that feel? Losing a sibling, that hurt. I never ever in my life felt no type of pain like that. And I still feel that pain to this day. I'm just stronger with it. I'm just learning how to live with it. But I was so hurt, and I kept screaming to the doctors, and I kept screaming out loud, and I kept saying, what's going on? Like, I did not believe it was true. I kept saying, my sister gone, my sister gone. How could this happen? Like, I was so confused. Everything was going right in our life. Like, my sister, she just had a baby. Her baby was only 2 weeks old. I was confused. I was like, why would God do this? Like, really, why would he do this? She just had a baby. Why couldn't it be me? I didn't have no kids. I didn't have nobody to live for. She had a whole child. I was so confused and lost and hurt. I really didn't understand, but it wasn't for me to understand at the moment. So after we found out, my mom probably came, I would say maybe 20 minutes after that. When she came, she still didn't know that her daughter was gone, because the doctors didn't want me to call my mama and tell her while she's driving, because, you know, it could have caused another wreck or discretion or anything. So I didn't call her. We waited till she got there. When my mom got there, you know, she still didn't know what was going on. So she came in the room, and at this moment, I wasn't crying no more. I was just, you know, my face was just teared up, but I wasn't crying no more, because it's been 20 minutes later. I'm just sitting there quiet. I was numb. My auntie was still holding on to me. You know, I just couldn't cry no more. I cried and I cried and I cried, but I couldn't cry no more. So my mom came in the room, and the doctors didn't tell her. Her sister, the one that was holding me, my Aunt Tasha, she told my mom, and my mom was so in shock. She was just like, what? You know, she didn't immediately cry or nothing like that. She was just like, what you mean? And you know, we had to tell her again, you know, like, Kyra is gone. And she was still, you know, in shock. She was so in shock, like, she had to see it. We had to see it. So at this moment, it's like me, my auntie, my mom, and my other auntie that came with rode with my mom. We, you know, we just in the room trying to figure out what happened, what's going on. And this is when the doctors came back in, and they asked us, wait, no, not before that. Before my mom had came, you know, my dad, he still was coming from Detroit, so he was hours away. And I wanted to tell my dad, I did not want my dad to wait 3-4 hours before he found out that his daughter died. So I was trying to call my dad, but the doctors kept saying, don't call him, he's driving. But I kept telling them that he wasn't driving. Someone else was driving while he was in the car with them. So they just go ahead and let me do it. So I called my dad, and I was like, Dad, he was like, what's going on? And I said, Kyra gone. And he immediately broke down on the phone. He just cried and cried, and I cried. We just sat on the phone crying. And when my mama came, that's when I hung up the phone. So now, this is when the doctors had came in. They was asking us, did we want to see her? So we had went in, me, my mom, and my auntie, we had went in the room, and I saw my sister laying on the bed. She had a neck brace on, and the covers was maybe all the way up to like right here covering her, but she had a neck brace on, and her eyes, they was open, but not like wide open. They was like this low. They was like very low. She was just laying there, and my sister didn't have no bruises. She didn't have no scratches. She looked it very normal, other than the neck brace. But it was blood on the sheets, and you know, the bag, I don't know what it's called, but the bag that be having water in it, it was full of blood, and it was blood all on the floor. Like, I remember this day from the start to the end. This is a day that I would never ever forget. So It was blood everywhere. It was a handprint of blood. I don't know if it was the doctor's or hers, but it was a handprint of blood on the sheets. You know, she's just laying there, and I'm just looking. I didn't even cry, y'all. I'm telling y'all, I didn't even cry. When I cried in that room was the only time I cried until after the funeral. I did not cry. I don't understand. I guess I had to cry alone, but I couldn't cry in front of people. But when I was in that hospital room, I was just looking at my sister's body, and I was so confused. I just stared at her for a while. Me, my mom was touching on her, you know, touching her daughter's face and her hands. But me, I was just standing from a little distance, and I was looking at her. I was just looking at her body, and I was so confused and lost. Like, I didn't understand how did this happen. I didn't see no bruises. I didn't see no cuts. All I see was this neck brace. She looked at like, you know, she looked so normal. She didn't look like she just had a neck brace. I was so confused, but I was looking at my sister's body, and I was hurt. I was definitely hurt. I was in disbelief. I was more in disbelief than everything. I didn't believe that she was gone. I didn't believe that I wouldn't be talking to this person ever again or seeing this person ever again. I didn't believe it. I was in shock. I was believing the whole time. I didn't believe it. So we just in the room. We stayed in that room for hours and hours. And our family kept coming. You know, people in our family kept coming. They came and saw her. My sister Kierra, I don't really remember how she found out. I think that she was going to get Zaya, and my cousin, one of my cousins named Bria, went to go pick up Kierra. And I think Bria had found out by my auntie, my Aunt Tasha, the one that was holding me. Her daughter name is Bria, and Kierra was with Bria. I think my Aunt Tasha told Bria, and Bria had to tell Kierra. And I know that Kierra had told me that she immediately fell on the ground, you know, and she broke down and broke down. When Kierra came in the hospital, they had to roll her in a wheelchair because she was pregnant at the time, and they didn't want nothing to happen to her or the baby, because Kierra was just crying and crying. Like, we was all just crying and in disbelief. Well, I wasn't crying anymore, but they was crying, and we was all just, we didn't believe that what just happened to us. We were so lost and confused. And we sat at that room. It was probably like to 11:30. We sat in that room to 11:30 to 5 o'clock p.m. We stayed there for a long time, and we just looked at her. We prayed. We didn't understand. We really didn't understand what happened. And I was more lost of why did it happen to her, a person that changed her life and had a baby, opened up a new shop. I was so confused. I was wondering, why would this happen to her at the greatest moments in her life? I didn't understand. But everything happens for a reason. I still don't understand to this day. I truly don't understand to this day why it happened to her. And
hi everyone, I'm Kierra. I'm Kayla's big sister. She asked me to make a video about what I remember of the day that our sister passed. Okay. So, Sunday, June 13th, 2021, I spent the night at my dad's house. I slept in the front room. Kayla was in the middle room. I remember my mom calling me at like 10 in the morning. And I was really tired. I worked a long shift. I was pregnant. I had an attitude, a straight up attitude. She called me. She was like, "Is Zaya with you?" I'm like, "What you mean is Zaya with me?" Like, get off my phone. Like, what are you talking about, Zaya with me? She said, "I'm asking you, is Zaya with you because Kyra been in the wreck and they said they see a car seat but they can't find a baby." My attitude went away. My tiredness went away. I ran in the next room and I told Kayla, I was like, Kyra been in the wreck and they see the car seat but they can't find Zaya. So Kayla jumped up, Kayla put her shoes on. We run outside. Our uncles is outside. We tell our Uncle Elwin. I tell him, he was like, man. So He like, where's the wreck happening? Where was the wreck? Where's the wreck? You know, he finna go try to find Zaya. I was on the phone with my best friend. Her baby shower was actually that day, and I called her and I was crying. I was like, I don't think I'm gonna make it to your baby shower because Kyra been in a wreck and they can't find Zaya. So she was like, it's okay, you go find your niece. I was more worried about Zaya than I was about Kyra, because in my mind, Kyra, you good. I mean, maybe she got a broken arm, a broken leg. I never in a million years thought that Kyra was dead. I never thought that at all. So I'm just like, I'm getting all these calls and I'm answering the phones. Then I'm like, we can't find Zaya. Like, where's my niece? I was so worried about my niece. I'm like, where's my niece? Like, she done flew out the car. That's what I'm thinking in my head. That's what all of us are thinking. I'm like, where's my niece? They can't find my niece. So I remember my best friend and my cousin both telling me, they was like, Kierra, call her business partner. You got her business partner number? And I was like, I don't really know who her business partner is like that, I don't think. She was like, well, I knew who she was because of Kyra on the phone with her, but I really didn't know like her Facebook name or nothing. So they told me her Facebook name. When I went on her Facebook, most people don't have that number in their Facebook. Her number was right there. I see. I called her and I was like, hey Jada, this is Kierra. I was calling, do you know where Zaya is? She said, I got Zaya. She was like, I was wondering. I told her, I was like, Kyra been in the wreck. She was like, I was wondering, because she was like, she was gone for a little minute and she hadn't heard from her. Kyra hadn't texted her back or called her back or anything. So I'm like, whew, that's a relief. Zaya's good. Great, awesome. That means my sister is good. We just gotta go to this hospital. Go. So then my mom called me and told me that Kyra was in critical condition. So they kind of threw me back. But I'm like, even though she's in critical condition, that doesn't mean that she's gone. Still, she can have a broken leg, broken arm, broken neck. That doesn't mean that she's gone. In my head, I'm like, my sister is still here. She's strong. Once I found out that Zaya is okay, all of my focus, the whole time I was praying for both of them. But I was more worried about Zaya. So once I found out Zaya was okay, all my main focus, I prayed harder than I ever prayed in my life for her. So Jada sent me her address. I remember driving to her house to pick up Zaya. When I got there, Zaya did not have a car seat. Zaya's car seat was in the car with Kyra. That's why they thought that Zaya was in the car. The detectives, the police. So I called my cousin Bria and I was like, hey Bria, can I use brakes and car seat? Can you bring it to me? So she was like, yeah, I'll bring it to you. She was taking so long. Oh my God, she was taking so long. Like, I don't know if she was really taking so long or was I just so anxious to get to my sister that she felt like she was taking so long. So, once Bria got to Jada's house, I had Zaya in my arms. And she called me, she told me she was outside. I ran downstairs, went to the door. She tried to take Zaya out of my arms and pushed me in the house. And I was like, move out the way. Like, I gotta get my niece to her mama. I gotta get to my sister. We gotta get to this hospital. When she tried to take her out of my arms and she pushed me in the house, I knew then that my sister was dead. But in my mind, I didn't want to believe it. So in my mind, I'm not saying nothing to them, but in my mind, I'm saying, she gonna have to tell me. She gonna have to tell me. I gotta hear her say it to believe it. I gotta hear her say it. So she like, KK, give me the baby. move, like for real, move, get out my way. Like at this point, I will fight you if you don't get out my way. So I go and let her took my niece. She said, you might want to sit down. Then I was just like this, like, now I'm getting mad and I'm getting irritated because I know what it is. Just tell me, just tell me, because I don't want to believe it. I gotta hear you say it. She put the phone on speakerphone, and my aunt Tasha said, KK, she didn't make it. And I screamed so loud. And I remember falling. And it was just like, oh my God. And then I remember grabbing my niece. And when I held her, I screamed even louder. Just like my blood pressure shot up. And I fell again. And my cousin grabbed the baby and Jada and Shay. They were all helping me. And we was getting in the car so we could go to the hospital. And I was just shaking. It was just like, I can't believe this. Like, I knew when she came to that door and she wouldn't let me out the door. I knew then, but I didn't want to believe it. I had to hear it. So when I found Larry, I fell to the ground and it was just like, you gotta be kidding me. She could have a broken arm. She could have a broken leg. Like, none of that stuff could happen. Even after that, we went to the hospital. We went to go view her body. When I saw her, I saw blood first. And I screamed so loud. And they brought a wheelchair and made me sit down. They took my blood pressure and stuff because I was pregnant. And it was just like the worst. Just sitting there, seeing your sister lifeless, laying down 2 weeks in a day after she had her baby. It was just like the worst day, worst week, worst year, without hearing her laugh, without hearing her talk, without hearing us argue with each other. Like, she was one of a kind. She was one of a kind. I could go more deep into stuff, but I'm not sure how long Kayla want her video, and I just realized that I've been talking for 9 minutes. So that's about it. I just want to say, long live my sister. You will forever and always live through me. Forever live through me. I love you so much. Just continue to.
I lost my best friend, somebody who meant the world to me. And when you left me, I couldn't even walk straight on my feet. And now my heart is broken, I can't stand to see you leave.